And we're back with another episode of Let's Play Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. I'm your host here, RPG Guy. And we've brought in some new cars to work on. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with an engine swap sports car rig. We're going to give it a try. We haven't actually swapped an engine out in its entirety, so I figure now's a good time to do it. So we're going to start with this Bolt Reptilia. Now this is the OG one, as there is a version 2 that is more recent period than this one. And we'll see how it holds up. Currently it has just one of the standard V8s in it. And when I was looking at the info on its engine, I realized we can put in a 2-carb OHV supercharge. So the good news is literally we can put in the OHV supercharge. Bad news is that we'd have to disassemble this whole engine and pretty much not be able to reuse any of it if we want to put the best engine in. The good news is this Sakura has no other engine options, so we literally can only insert the engine that's there. And so it changes a lot of how we would approach this car, but I do think that the gearbox is going to be... Actually, the gearbox could be completely different. So, yeah, we will do things, and the suspension will be exactly the same, so nothing's going to change when it comes to the suspension. But there will be some clear things that need to be changed here in order to make this kind of universally work. Okay. So let's go ahead and clean this bad boy up. I believe we already cleaned the interior. It looks pretty clean to me. Oh no, maybe not. Well, the interior could also be this. So we need... We'll go ahead and put these guys in. Interior is 100%. So now we're talking about body and we're talking about parts. Unless we can get those fenders. Alright, well that worked out in our favor, didn't it not? But we're not quite done yet, and I am going to actually move this to the A-lift, just because it's closer to everything we're working on here. Alright. Body tuning Reptilia. So, no bumpers, but we have a hood. We'll do headlight B. We'll do the B series. And then... I believe we bought the hood. If not, we'll buy it in a moment here. We need the front bumper. We need the doors. We need the mirrors. And the windshield. Strangely enough, it has very few actual parts to the body compared to some other cars we've dealt with. It drove along the shores of Waikiki. Let's reassemble. Now you're saying, why the weird hood? Well, this was the issue that we had in the previous episode, where we put in the V8, but it really didn't work because they didn't have a hood that worked with the Supercharged. Hence why we sold that car because it made no sense to keep it, because even in its complete state, it looks ridiculous, right? Which it did. It looked absolutely absurd. So in this form, it should look correct, the way it's supposed to look. So we're going to experiment with putting in a new engine, and really that's going to narrow down the completion of a lot of the tasks that you do in this game. I mean, we have a new engine that we really haven't done much work with on the Sakura, and a lot of it's going to be, well, where do you go from there? You know. Because, yeah, I think this is a general issue with any of the Let's Plays for this series, but we'll talk about that when we're ready. Still not quite there yet. Get that off. It's already done. Alright. We take the tires apart. We're going to do these right away just because I want to. Alright. So let's see what we can repair when it comes to... Okay, looks like the rims are good. Except for one. Right, that's a 15-incher. We go here, and we're talking 225/60. So 225/60. Da 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 dun dun. Alright. So tires are good to go. Let's get her done. So let's take a look at what we gotta actually replace on this sucker. First things first. I don't remember if I grabbed it or not now. Okay, let's see here. So we've got 1, 2. I don't know about the caps. Okay, let's Start taking this apart here. Now, I'm not gonna look into what kind of piece this is, and the reason being, really stems down to really comes from the issue that we're gonna run into. I know it's gonna be a V8. And the issue that's gonna come up is that we don't know if the gearbox is gonna change formats or not. There's no way for us to know that. When at least there isn't really a casual way for us to know that. So luckily all this stuff is the same. Because it's something we've never done before, which is change engines, so we're gonna see how this is all affected by doing that. Okay. This down. That's not good. Alright, let's look over here. Should be an even number. I think I put in an extra one in there. But yeah, I want to do the suspension first because the engine's going to be the more weird kind of thing we got to finish. So we'll take this assembly apart. Take that apart. Alright. Let's go see what we can repair versus what needs to be replaced. Lots of little pieces. Which is funny because when we get over to the engine, it's going to be a brand new engine, probably from the bottom up. And to maybe make it simple, I might just disassemble most of it from the car rather than bring it to the engine thingamajig. And we'll probably do the other interior and electrical too before starting the engine. I just want to get it all kind of out of the way. And then the engine being really the only thing that needs to be, you know, in a sense, completed. Race tire is done. I think everything else is over here. So we need 14. Oh, I forgot the sway bar. Oh well. I forget which one it is, so we'll just wait on that. I bet you. No, it actually doesn't. Oh yeah, it does show it. Okay, that makes me feel better. Start putting some of this stuff in, shall we? Especially the stuff we know we can put in right away. And we're not going to put in these two pipe pieces here, because that would probably prevent us from taking out and putting in an engine. So it's one less thing we have to dick around with later. That's good. Let's do this. One U-bolt. One of those. Two of those, okay. Probably good except in the caliper department, so... Okay, the cylinders are all good, it just needed calipers. We should be able to do the other side of the car pretty straightforwardly here. And we work on the front, which is also a quasi-mystery. Luckily, the rear suspension on this car is pretty straightforward. Nice. break. This is probably going to be one of the more expensive cars we've had to repair, give or take. That on. And that should be pretty much everything. Unless I forgot to buy something. Okay. There we go. Alright, so the suspension for the most part is done. Let's look at what's under the hood. Okay, what's missing? A lot of relays. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be recoverable. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Okay. Get all the fuses in. Okay, so that's done. I don't see any other electrical things like that weird electrical unit in modern cars that we see. So now it's really about the engine, which I had said before is going to be upgraded. So we can do a few little pre-purchases here. Let's get our rings. So we know we're going with a V8. But we know there's no con rods over there. Or rod caps, rather. One. This could be repairable. Okay, let's disassemble all of this. Like back in the day when you would replace timing parts, right? Without engine removal. Different chain, possibly. So we're not going to mess with any of that. There usually are 3 bearing caps, so let's add 2 since there's one already here. That looks in pretty good condition. Again, we're doing this a little avant-garde-ish. Okay, then we gotta bring this up. Again, we don't know what our crankshaft's gonna be right away. Alright. Now, we are gonna go through the routine of repairing what's here because we can sell it for cash. I don't see the rod cap there, so we'll buy another one. Actually, it's gonna be a thing. Okay. So we've not really messed with this. So we're looking for the V8 Supercharged. 2 carb. This guy right here. That'll be enough to get us started. It's gonna be that. Oh, not the cover. Should be this guy. We know we'll wait because you're starting to get into stuff that's a little trickier. wait on the cords here. Into things that don't show up in the high tier. Actually, from here on out, with the front part of this engine, we're not going to run into any of that anyway. We can't do anything more until we get further along. Spark plugs. Let's finish this bottom section, shall we? It is done. You can even go one step further. B. B. This way we can kind of get one side done at a time here. We're dealing with the Supercharger section. Slowly get all this in. It took us a hair longer than normal to rebuild this engine, but we still got it done. And it helps remembering what a lot of the engines kind of look like. Okay, so now we're going to place this engine in this car. And allegedly it should work. Now I realized now that we're not done yet. That's okay. Because I forgot to put in these guys. And the scoop and everything else. Not quite done with the car. Luckily, it's not a big deal. Pretty sure there's not a fancy version of this. Yeah. Okay. Let's fill it up with fluid. Fill this up nice and full. We still got some undercarriage stuff we gotta finish up. So the drive shaft, the gearbox, and some of the connecting pieces here. It looks like we don't need it because, yeah, that's weird. That's interesting. We ended up getting one piece too many. Two pieces, actually. Two extra exhaust. The extra exhaust piping being only necessary for that other car. Saves us a little bit of cash when you think about it. If only I knew that up front. Really interesting. I wonder if there's a throttle that goes on the back of this. Oops. The engine is done. As done as it's going to get. So this is what you're all looking to see here. And thus, it looks like a proper car. Like I said, that Bolt Atlanta could take the nice engine, but they didn't... I guess they had forgotten... At the time of making this video, they did not make an actual mechanism for the... They didn't actually make a suitable trunk. Or hood, rather. Hood. And because of that, it affects our ability to finish that car with that engine. With the best engine available, I think, to it, give or take. Of course, it's always something. Okay. I think, guys, that's going to be it for that. We'll take a look at our parts, make sure all the parts are accounted for and good. Body parts, frame, interior, just to double check. Go through a list of all of these amazing parts. Yep. Okay, let's finish up with the test path so we can fix alignment. That's painter. Go green. That looks horrible. That looks pretty nice. This is that. This is that. Yeah, the first one we're not doing. Yeah. Alright, let's take it back. Look at this guy. Yeah, it's a pretty car. And let's check the value of it. Wow. Oh, $121,000 car. At least credits or whatever. And we probably paid roughly 60 grand. Not even 60. I don't even think we spent 60 grand. I mean, it will tell us because the engine's brand new. Most of the parts are new, too. So, I mean, if you look at it, 36 plus 38. Yeah, 60, 70 grand. Plus the buy price, so 77 grand. 80 grand. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's definitely worth quite a bit of money. But easily I could say we made about 60 grand total off of this car. But that's because we redid everything that there feasibly is to freaking do. And it's a beauty. The Bolt Reptilia and even the R2 variant are beautiful, beautiful cars. And we're going to take a look here really quick. See what we get in performance here. Sounds like it's going to explode! So 101% performance increase, putting us right at 1,000 horsepower. The pneumatic or M&M whatever is also just almost 100% increase. That's really good numbers. That is amazing numbers. Let's go back to the first car lifter with this guy, and then we're going to go ahead. Let's do the speed trap. With our Bolt Reptilia. Now, I still have a feeling that it's going to swerve off the road. I've never been able to figure out what causes that. But if we can get it to stay straight, that would be awesome. Nope. No way we can really measure this. Because every car that tends to have this giant car in it, a giant engine, tends to swerve out of control. It probably has something to also do with the tires, but you know, I'm not going to make a big thing out of it. You would think this game have a little bit more of a means for you to test the cars out on these tracks a bit better, but they really don't. It's one of the pet peeves I have with this is they let you drive the cars, but all the cars just seem to constantly lose control. And there's probably a variable that somebody's figured out of why it does that. I just think that it's too much nonsense. It shouldn't be that big of a deal to get it going. So anywho, there it is, guys. The Bolt Reptilia, the 1970 Bolt Reptilia. With the best engine we can put inside this bad boy, to my knowledge. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the strongest engines we can put in it. With the proper hood and everything, going for it, and with the metal look, it looks great. This would be like my dream sports car. Not gonna lie, but here's the thing: is I don't like sports cars in general. And I say that because I like functionality. I know that sounds weird for some people to understand, but I'm a person who prefers a car that's super functional. So currently it's like I've always driven SUVs of some kind. I care for that functionality. But if I had, absurd amounts of money to burn, this might be like a second car. Like, we're going to go to a nice restaurant car. So the one thing I will say is the lack of cover. I bet you it does cover. A car like whatever this is emulating does have a cover in real life. So that wouldn't bother me as much. But anywho, it's done. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Studios, for live gaming action. That is exclusive to the Twitch channel, because YouTube likes to say, hey, you can't show that here. But yeah, with various games, because they have naughty tidbits or something that's not appropriate for the YouTube audience. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.